Welcome to Impact, a conversation about Project Periwinkle's mission to advance stomach cancer research. We're your hosts. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Ben. So welcome back to the next episode of Impact, Season 2, Episode 4. This is our first episode without Danielle. So we have Christine and I joining you for what should be a pretty good discussion of some updates and some different things, especially as we've kind of tapped into Awareness Month and are halfway through November.
Yeah,
Hey,
thanks for having me. My name's Christine. Like Ben said, I've been on the board of Project Periwinkle since we started. You got a little quick introduction of me in our last episode, episode 3 of season 2. I'm looking forward to being part of this podcast and talking about the importance of stomach cancer. And I think it's a great first episode to have because it is Awareness Month. I don't know if you wanted to put a few points out there.
Yeah. It's today's November 16th, so we're about halfway through, and this episode will get published next week. So definitely still in the heart of Awareness Month, and for us and for our organization, the obviously the research behind it all and funding research is our top priority, but within that you have early detection, you have prevention, hitting at the misdiagnosis that many have, and uh, obviously it doesn't stop when someone gets diagnosed. There's a lot through it that we're trying to aim and hit at with people's battles and everybody's individual and personalized approach. So, any stats, I think, Christine, that stick out to you that maybe we can highlight for those listening on stomach cancer awareness?
Um, I think the big one for the Awareness Month is just more education on stomach cancer itself. Last episode we talked about HR 9304, which is a big deal. Um, I think one interesting thing to comment on uh, is the PACT Act that happened a few years ago, 2022. And that kind of touches more on veterans and those who've served our country. Um, in that act, they made stomach cancer a presumptive condition, which is good for those that are seeking health care. And there are a few steps that are clearly laid out on the VA's website of how we can get those who need help more attached to the care they need. So I don't know if you wanted me to dive deeper into that, or if you want, you can just go on to your va.gov website, and all those steps are laid out.
Yeah, one of the big points, especially with veterans, is when we start looking at the different bills that get supported in Congress from a federal level, which our organization is big on research funding, not so much on lobbying, but through different support from other organizations or kind of being in that support coalition, if you will. We've had the opportunity to be signers on letters of support for certain pieces of legislation or certain advocacy moments that don't cost us anything other than our time. And so we'll get into that more with some of the upcoming endeavors that we're a part of. But I think sitting and seeing all of the impacts and attention that veterans get, especially with these different bills, a lot of it's tied to that bacteria that might be found in you know developing countries or in different parts of the world where H. pylori is one of those carcinogens that is known to cause cancer and has a high prevalence in stomach cancer. And so tying that to different aspects of bills and supporting veterans. And of course, me personally, our organization, our country, the biggest thing that we can give back towards veterans is helping them when they come home. So that's something that kind of connects the dots for those who are listening, kind of wondering where the DoD budget line items come into play. But with that peer-reviewed cancer research program, some different items there, the line item specifically for gastric cancer, a lot of it helps a lot of the work that we're helping to move forward from a research perspective to continue. So definitely big attention there. And
Yeah,
we'll
it's
be in DC too. So, or at least our organization will be supported in DC, kind of making sure that those continue.
yeah, I think this act it is a few years old, but it is the largest expansion in VA health ever. So that's important, and it has brought testicular and more specifically stomach cancer to the forefront for people who were exposed. It says from Vietnam to the post 9/11 era, so to about today. Those who were exposed in areas with burn pits or other toxic chemicals, and to show that they are taking stomach cancer seriously. Those who have it have an 100% rating, which means that not only will they be looked at and cared for, they'll be cared for uh, through um, if they ever like go into remission or whatever. And it also has expanded to assist those families who may have lost somebody or who are caring for somebody with stomach cancer. So definitely go on the VA website or call your local VA. They want you to gather as many medical records as you have and have a current diagnosis from a healthcare provider. And it's very important to link your condition to your time served, which your private healthcare provider can help you do. They also ask for any impact statements from family or those you served with to not just prove, but to discuss your time in these areas. So the more research and information you have gathered, the quicker or hopefully, the more efficient your time with the VA will be, and we can get you that care that you need.
Yeah, very important. And we'll be in DC. Our organization will be part of an advocacy day or couple days on the Hill at the end of February. We're going as our organization supporting the efforts within advocacy that Debbie's Dream Foundation is doing in DC. So they're more advocacy focused, and they spearhead a day on the Hill where the big aim is to maintain stomach cancer in the DoD budget for that peer-reviewed cancer research program that I talked about.
Mhm.
Just fiscal year 23, for example, awarded over $6.5 million for stomach cancer research specifically. So keeping that in there, definitely very vital, especially now that we've kind of continued to talk about the impact on veterans, the impact on others, and stomach cancer doesn't get that much attention. So seeing how common it is and seeing that it's a late diagnosis or late stage diagnosis, which is why early detection and prevention are important to us. And obviously Awareness Month's a good time to talk about that. So we'll be
Yeah,
there.
and I think, oh, just to touch one more thing, the Mayo Clinic came out and said that even just over the last 10 years, stomach cancer detection has gotten better, and there's been leaps and bounds made just in the last year. So even though it is a late detection, normally a late detection cancer, there's still hope. And the more funding and more advocacy we have, hopefully we can work towards getting a better detection rate.
Yeah.
And it's been proven that even the little bit of research that is happening is really making a difference.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely does make a difference. And we see it, day in and day out with our organization, but being able to also highlight and showcase that with those listening and those that might not know that much about it is definitely extremely important. So we'll be supporting those efforts. I'll be there personally at the end of February. I know a couple other organizations are going as well. So that'll be a good trip and a good opportunity to add voice to the conversation and hopefully.
Yeah, and I don't know if we've ever talked about like the symptoms of it and just like I mean it's always good to remember that
Yeah.
it is kind of a silent like I mean not to sound facetious but obviously a stomach ache. Um but there are because it's such a late stage diagnosis a lot of that has to do with its symptoms which can be just abdominal pain, exhaustion, blood in the stool, nausea, which can be anything. So I know a lot of people like to just wait it out and not go to the doctor, but if you have any of those things that don't go away within a small amount of time, especially if you have it in your genetics or if somebody in your family or extended family has had stomach cancer, it's definitely good to go and get those tests and just make sure, because it is, if you detect it early, it is very, very curable. It's a very, very high survival rate. So make sure you take that time and really listen to your body, because you don't want to put something off and make it a bigger problem when you might have been able to go in and get out and move on with your life.
Right. When my cousin Michonne, when she was diagnosed with stage 4, which at that
Hmm.
time was inoperable, in the summer of
Right.
2013, she went in to the ICU for gallbladder issues, and
Sure.
when she was diagnosed, so stage 4, she was given a year, which she passed away July 13th of the next summer, so July 13th of
Hmm.
2018. Um, but she went in for gallbladder issues, got diagnosed with stomach cancer, had chemo, and then ended up needing radiation for masses that were in her skull. So it's very,
Right.
at that point, you look at prognosis, or you look at where things spread, you look at the symptoms at that point, and it's one of those horrific diseases that if if you know the symptoms, if you know you have a hereditary risk to it, if you even, just a stomach ache, go get checked out. I mean, it could just be a
Yeah.
stomach ache or a small flu or something, but it's better to be safe than sorry. And um, you,
Well, yeah, and your stomach is such a in a very main part of your body that is working with your intestines, and it's by your liver and your kidneys, and it's the main pass through, right? So you really want to make sure that if there is something going on, you get it fixed, because it can lead to bigger problems other than just stomach issues and stomach cancer, and that's when you start to get these bigger issues and these diagnoses that are a little bit more bleak.
right.
But yeah,
Uh,
I
a lot
think
of facts.
yeah, a lot of facts, but it's good to remind yourself. And I think we like to just talk about it and all the prevention, but it's always good to remind everybody um, how it can occur and just some things to look for, because our ultimate goal would be for people to catch it early.
Right.
It's a lot easier to help.
So a lot of big things coming for our group, our
Yeah.
organization in the next year or so. I think we're in our 10th year now, but and
Wild.
you touched on this when we've introduced you to the podcast before, but our 10th anniversary is coming up next spring. We have a gala going on in St. Louis for anyone that might want to join, but I was we're in the early planning stages of that, and I'm going through every, photo or artifact or piece of whatever history that we have from the past 10 years. And it's crazy to think that this time 10 years ago, you and I were sitting sitting in college. I'm like, yeah, so I'm just starting this, and I just filed this, and you were on the board at that point. It wasn't really formed from a corporate entity yet, but early stages, and now here we are. But a lot of memories in those photos with those early fundraisers or those early big moments. And just this morning, I was getting a folder put together with dozens and dozens of pictures. So I think the thing that we've come so
Yeah.
far on has been remarkable.
Yeah. You do love to look back on those photos. 10 years is wild,
Yeah.
but if anybody wants to celebrate with us, April 26th in St. Louis, Ben and the rest of the team has put on a bunch of work, and it sounds like it's going to be fun. I'm going to try my best to be there. Uh, I chose one of the craziest places to live in the United States, so I'm going to do my best, but I know Ben and the team will be there smiling, taking a bunch more photos and continuing on our work.
Yeah, and we have a great committee planning the event.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it's looking like going to try for a couple hundred people. It's going to be at the St. Louis Zoo. There's going to be a silent auction and raffle, dinner. We have some special things coming that I'll keep quiet for now, but it'll be a good opportunity for those who decide to come to um, really celebrate the last decade. And we look back at what we've accomplished, and I started the organization because I saw a huge void and a huge gap in attention, not just for everything that Christine just walked through, but it's an opportunity to highlight that, to tell people about it, to remind people to get checked and follow your instincts and listen to your body, and um, kind of tackle a lot of the opportunities that we saw in research where everything that we're doing now wasn't even on the minds of people a decade ago. And now we're leading programs that are making huge strides in the research space. So,
Yeah.
bottom line, create an opportunity, a big night where we can look back as a group, and whether you've supported us since day one or just started supporting us on April 26, 2025, whatever in that span, but look back and say, okay, wow, look at everything we did together. It takes a huge group effort, a huge support from not just time but financial, to make everything happen. And so it's going to be a big party, big celebration to cap off our first decade and kind of get started on our next, which I think will be hopefully bigger than the first. But
Oh, yeah. And yeah, I think meeting new people and connecting with people one-on-one who want to join us in that next decade will be um, fun. And just a shameless plug on my end, the zoo is cool. The zoo is really cool.
yeah,
It's a hell of a venue. So there'll be a lot of fun stuff going on around us as well. So come out, hang out. Um, and yeah, let's raise some awareness, raise some money, and see Project Periwinkle go into the next couple decades.
so if you are interested in attending, and again, you can come from anywhere, you don't have to be local, projectperiwinkle.org/events, and that's our whole event calendar. It's listed on there for the 10-year anniversary gala. So get your registration. And if you can't make it, or you can make it and you want to make a bigger impact, maybe you have a small business or you're part of a bigger corporation that does kind of that social giving and that philanthropy
Mhm.
aspect of it, you can do sponsorship opportunities as well. So there's a lot of cool
Right.
ways to get involved. All are welcome. We did age restrict it to 16 plus. So as long as you're under, under that known aspect at 16 plus at the zoo, St. Louis, that's where it's going to be.
You're talking about 16 years old, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Uh, we'll love to
Get a
have.
babysitter. It'll be worth it.
So it'll be a few hours. Silent auction. We're building out the silent auction, and I love a good
Great.
silent auction, and it's
Oh, I know.
gonna be awesome. So, yeah, so we'll have that, and then of course, we'll love to tell you all about my trip to DC in February
Yeah,
when
that's a month before. That's the 24th to the 26th,
I
pretty much exactly a month before the gala. Is there, I know me and Julia, a fellow board member, were going to go, but we decided to kind of take a step back to divide up and hopefully we can go to another advocacy event. But what are you looking forward to the most in DC in that week?
I think I think going as representing our organization, Project
Mhm.
Periwinkle, supporting another. I think that's going to be a unique aspect of it, because we're not putting on the event ourselves. We're kind of joining in that larger conversation. So I think I guess my top three is going to be joining in on that bigger conversation and meeting the others that are involved in the space, but adding a bigger voice and having it in front of those that can make a difference, which is the legislatures. So, um,
Mhm.
members of Congress who are going to meet with those going, I think is what I'm looking forward to the most, just because you know that your voice is being heard and you're getting in front of those individuals. And then I think second is going to be seeing what comes of it. So, like I mentioned, the last few years, there's been millions and millions of dollars in research that's been secured, or dollars that's been secured for research through that peer-reviewed process. So I think seeing what's going to be coming of that and knowing that what we've done as I say, collective body made a difference. And then I think third, it would be continuing to be a voice for those that can't be a voice for themselves, or ones that find hope or find um, some sort of relief or power or whatever you want to call it in what we do for them. I think that would be the third aspect. Of course, none of those are ranked, 1 to 3. I think those are just three general um, aspects of it. But
Sure.
what we're doing is making a huge difference, and I'm excited to continue to lead this organization and represent this organization and make a big difference for those that rely on us to do that. So that's probably what I'm
Yeah,
looking
and
for the most. It's going to be a good weekend or good week.
I was gonna say this is your old stomping ground. For those who don't know, Ben lived in DC right out of college. I
Yeah,
went
right
and
out of
visited
college.
him for a week. That was a wild trip. Um,
I'll be
get your
there
own
for,
stomping ground. There's a lot of DC is gonna be a very energetic area that month, 1 month after the new administration. So,
yeah,
um, on just a fun note, what are you looking for? I mean, not that this isn't fun, but off of the hill,
right.
what are
So
you looking forward to doing in DC?
yeah,
Like,
so
is there
this
a go-to place? Is there something you have to do
Okay,
every
so
time
when
you're there?
I lived there, I moved right after graduation, and
Yeah,
I
like
lived
right
there
after.
for, yeah, like fresh out. I packed my stuff up
Yeah.
pretty much right there. And I was there for 14 months. I went
Mm-hmm.
June of what was it, 2016 through,
16. Yeah, because we graduated like mid to late May of 16 and you were
yeah,
out.
so June of 16 through I came back August of 17. I worked for
Yeah.
a private sector company that
Mm-hmm.
was based in DC. So what I did, I liked, well, while I was there, I probably went to every museum you can go to like 3 or 4
Oh
times.
yeah, must
By
must
the
do.
by the time you came and visited me for a week, I was like, all right, which museum do you want to go to? I've been to all of them. Um, this advocacy day, it's one day on the Hill. We have a day of prep and other workshops and stuff before. Um, so it's going to be a quick trip, but I think for me personally, I'm a big history guy, so probably
Mm-hmm.
museums again. I think just being in the space, monuments and museums and things would be cool. Probably go to the
Yeah.
Mint and the Spy Museum, I think are my,
Yes, the Spy Museum. If anybody's been to DC and hasn't been to the Spy Museum, you're doing it wrong. That thing
yeah.
is super cool.
So probably do that. That'll be my big two, I think. If I'm gonna try to
Any
box it
must
up.
eats as the
Really?
chef, as
Where?
a resident chef on the board, any must eats in DC that you want to tell people
I
about?
wish I could tell you I remember the names of the places I'd like to go to eat when but I can't. But it's such a melting pot of different cultures there that
Yeah.
where you go. I have when I lived there, I didn't go out to eat a lot when I was there, but
Well, yeah, we were broke and just out of college. Now,
right.
like we were saying,
But
10 years.
I think um the times that I did go out, there wasn't a place that I was like, I didn't like that. Or there wasn't a place that I don't think I'm
Sure.
gonna go there again. Everywhere I went, I loved. So I think you can't go wrong, especially with the type of environment that it is, with all the different people from different backgrounds. I've never been in New York City, but I imagine it would be that similar where you
You've
just
never been to New York City?
no, never been.
Oh, we're gonna have to talk about this more off the podcast.
But yeah, definitely. But I think wherever I went, you have like a new opportunity to eat. So I'll get back to you on a list of recommendations.
Yeah, be ready because I'm gonna interview you after the trip and I'm gonna break it down.
And we'll break it down. I think that'll be a good aspect of our podcast. So I'm going the Monday before, let's see, that would be Monday the 24th.
Yeah,
Kind of like we're not on the hill that day. We're on the hill on Tuesday, I think. Uh,
right.
but it's 2 days. I'm going Friday night. Um, so I'll have like Saturday and Sunday to kind of be on my own, do things, and then business stuff will start Monday. Um,
I'm gonna do some food research for you because
I got 2 days.
I want to go and eat. That's all I want to do ever is go and eat. So
Yeah. So I got 2 days of me time, I guess you could say. So fill in 6 meals and as long as I get my Mint and Spy Museum in there, I think we'll be good.
yeah, food
Uh,
trucks are awesome in DC. That's
there's
always a
so
fun
many of
game to
those.
play.
Yeah. Which when you came out, there was a lot of food trucks at we went to something I want to say. I don't remember exactly what it was. But
Yeah, I think one of my favorite things to do in DC, and I haven't been, oh, probably since that trip. I went a lot more when I was younger. Is to go and just walk around the mall and like exhaust yourself going in and out of all the Smithsonian museums and then finding a cool food truck or a couple cool food trucks and sitting on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial as the sun goes down and just with a smorgasbord of food and thinking about all the crazy things that have happened in that space and eating all this food of all these different types of people who are part of our country and have made our country what it is. So, yeah, I mean, just get outside and walk and wear and bring the best shoes you can ever possibly think of.
well, that's what you did
And
when you visited me. I was still working. I
all I
remember I
did.
worked that week. I didn't take the whole week off. And I'd go
No.
to work and I'd come back to my apartment. Hey, what'd you do today? And you tell me all the stuff you got into. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to add that to my list of
Oh,
stuff.
yeah, I love to just go
But that was a
and go.
fun trip. So I'm excited to go back. It'll be right now
It'll be cold.
well, it's cold there right now, ish, from what I've heard. I'm in St. Louis and it's getting there. But they're building the things for the inauguration. So like that parade viewing tower that goes up in front of the White House,
Mhm.
which they do every inauguration, like October
It's been
through
4 years. Yep.
pretty much January. It's like you
We
get up,
passed we passed civics class. We got this.
you can't see the White House like you normally would because they're building a huge
Mm-mm.
thing. So that was not there when I was, or no, that was there because it was January of 17. I
Yeah.
was still. So I'm excited for that stuff to be down because then I get to see the monuments for what they are. Um,
Yeah.
Hopefully it's down by then. And then, the barricades and all the stuff that goes up around the elections will be down. But um, it's I think a unique opportunity. We're not involved as much with lobbying as other organizations. We don't spend a dollar on it. So when we get
Right.
asked to participate for these things, it's supporting another organization, which I think is a very cool perspective and opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Then when we go on these trips, it's privately funded. So there's an earmarked donation that covers my 2 days that I'm there for this, and the other days are covered from me. But
Right.
definitely a cool aspect to not do something that you always do. You have other organizations that might be in it every single day, or you have, whether the sector is cancer or not, you have organizations that focus heavily on lobbying or focus heavy on, you know, education stuff or events or conferences or whatever it might be. And we're, very focused on research. And so I see that all the time. But I think being able to see the flip side, on that more personal side of it, on getting in front of people that can make change and talking to other people that are there from an advocacy perspective is going to be a
Mm-hmm.
perspective. So excited to unload all of that when we kind of debrief when I get back from my trip. Which
Yeah, and I think Julia and I were excited to go on an adventure, but we've decided to step back. So if anybody out there listening knows of any events that you think Project Periwinkle might be good represented at or that we need to attend, we're going to do our own research as well, but let us know because if there's something that you feel passionate about and want us to be involved, a few of us still have trips and are happy to go advocate for ourselves and the stomach cancer research as a whole. So yeah.
There's usually some cool things we get to do when we do our site visits, but I think kind of looking at different opportunities, there's always value add perspectives that you can go and see value in. So definitely interested in
And
those.
we're fun.
We are very
We
fun.
are fun humans.
If anyone is
Have a-
interested, participating in the advocacy weekend in DC, that
Yeah.
those dates, the 24th through the 26th, you can go reach out to me and I can send you to the right place. But it's
And how do we get a hold of you, Ben? Do you have socials? Or you have a website? What's the best way to do that?
probably email would be best, ben@projectperiwinkle.org. Very
Okay.
simple. Perks of one of the
Great.
simple email is, being in a very small organization. Or you can just go on our website, go to the contact us and follow the messaging
And
prompts.
is there are you going to be on our socials on the trip? Can people follow you
Yeah.
through the weekend?
Project Periwinkle on Instagram, Facebook. I'll be posting some stuff. Definitely want to get a lot of awareness around what's happening. So I think that'll be good, especially for those that support us. Obviously, you support us for a reason. So I'll be on socials, putting
Okay.
different updates up there and kind of highlighting some of the things that's being done. But yeah, social media.
Yeah, and that's kind of a tight turnaround, the February 26th and then April 26th, our gala. So we'll
Yeah.
talk about if we want to try to get a podcast out or do a mega podcast after those things, but follow us and we'll be keeping you updated in all these different forms.
Yeah. So again, those dates, the February 24th through the 26th for DC. And then if you want to
Mhm.
come to our gala or you're just interested, April 26th, and we'll fit some podcast updates in between there. But as always, website, social media, we have merch on our store that you can go and buy. And if you ever want to get in touch, email's probably the best contact. But I think we'll wrap it up unless you had anything else you wanted to go over.
No, I think we have a lot coming down the pipeline. February is going to be here before we know it. Um, are we going to do some type of podcast before the holiday? What's your, just so people know what to look
Maybe,
for?
yeah, maybe we can plan on reconvening after the new year. And then
Yeah,
we'll,
before the trip.
yeah, and then I'll have more
Okay.
information on what exactly is going to be happening. And then we'll fit one in uh between DC and the gala. So we'll have a lot to unpack there. And I don't think anyone wants to listen
Yeah, or
to
even
an
just a
hour
mini one.
podcast. Yeah,
Yeah.
quick anyone. And then depending on the gala situation, if you're there or not, maybe we could record one that weekend while you're still in town, or we can record one shortly thereafter.
Yeah, that sounds great. Again, find us on socials, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, our website.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to do this podcast. Thanks for having me and looking forward to doing the next one and the next one. And yeah, if you have any comments or anything, reach out to us. We'd love to hear them.
All righty. We'll see you on the next one. Bye, everybody. Thanks for listening.